Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video for Algebra 2. Today's video would be on evaluating absolute value expressions, which actually goes under the topic of solving absolute value equations, and we will do solving absolute value equations later on in the future. Before I get started, make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe down below, and let's get right into it. So let me start off with the meaning of absolute value. So absolute value is basically the distance from 0 on a number line, which means that absolute value of a number is always non-negative or positive or 0, right? That's because distance can be a negative number. So the absolute value of a number is always a positive number or 0. And the symbols of absolute value looks like this, which is basically bars surrounding the number. And I have an example here of -3. The absolute value of -3 is +3, saying the distance of -3 from 0 is 3 units. And for the absolute value of +3 would be also 3, because 3 is 3 units away from 0 as well. And to put that in words, for any real number a, if a is positive or 0, the absolute value of a is still a. And if a is negative, the absolute value of a is the opposite of a. So this is basically saying that if what's inside the absolute value is a negative number, then the absolute value of that number would be the opposite sign, or positive. And if the absolute value inside the symbols are positive, then the absolute value of that number would still be positive, the same number. And I just want you guys to keep in mind that when simplifying absolute value expressions, perform any operations inside the absolute value first. So absolute values are like grouping symbols similar to parentheses. So when you're doing the expressions, you would want to perform the operations inside of the absolute value first. And to put that in an example where we have to evaluate an expression with absolute value, we're going to be evaluating 1.4 plus absolute value 5y minus 7 if y is equal to -3. So we're supposed to plug in y, which is -3, and we plug that inside y over here. And that would give us 1.4 plus absolute value -15 minus 7, because 5 times -3 is -15 after we simplified. And then we're supposed to subtract 7 from -15, which will leave us with -22 instead of the absolute value. After that, we find the absolute value of -22, which is +22. And then we can add 1.4 plus 22, which will give us 23.4. So the value of 1.4 plus absolute value 5y minus 7 would give us 23.4. And I have another video for you guys to watch, which will pop up right about now. What's up guys, I have an absolute value expression here where we're supposed to be plugging in a equals -4. We're going to be plugging in -4 into this absolute value expression for a, and the absolute value expression is negative absolute value a plus 21. So let's get started with it. So we start off with negative absolute value, and then we plugged in the -4 into the a, and it's going to look like this: -4, and then you have the plus 21 after that. And then that's the first step. And we did that by we replaced a with -4, like that. And then next up, we're supposed to simplify it further by adding -4 and 21. And -4 plus 21 would give us 17. And then we have the absolute value of 17 left. The absolute value of 17 is still 17, and you have to ignore this negative sign out front because it's not inside of it. We're just looking at 17 for now. And then we're going to be left with -17. Because after we found the absolute value of 17, it gave us 17 again, And then now we can combine the negative and the 17 to give us 17 finally. Negative 17. And what we did here was simplify. And then you use the negative symbol. Okay, so that's basically how you solve this expression, and we solved it by replacing a with negative 4, then we simplified it further, then we used the negative symbol and made it negative 17. So that's how we got our final answer of negative 17. Voila. I left you guys some practice questions for you guys to do. Make sure you guys look at the answers in the description that I will post. And before you guys go, like and subscribe. Peace out.